Welcome to Lesson 2 of this free introductory JavaScript course. My name is Janice and I'm a senior at the Bronx High School of Science in New York City. In this lesson, I am going to introduce you to functions, which are blocks of code that can only be run when called by an event, such as a button click. We're also going to make a button which can then run our function. Buttons calling functions add interactivity to the user's experience. We're also going to take another look at variables, and this time a number variable that can keep track of total button clicks. Lastly, we are going to examine the main difference between declaring a variable inside the function as a local variable versus declaring it outside the function, a global variable. So let's get started. First, you need to open the Lesson 1 file, and if you don't have it, you can go down to the description box and download the Lesson 1 file, and you can also download the Lesson 2 solution file there too. Or you can just go to video number 1 and do it yourself. So open Lesson 1, do a file, save as, and rename it Lesson 2. Functions, buttons. And now we can just close out Lesson 1. First, change the title to Lesson 2, Functions and Buttons. And do the same thing for each one. Make the H2 tag and H3 tag so that it's not too big to define what a function is. Functions are blocks of code that can only run when called by an event, such as a button click. Okay. Now go inside your JavaScript and let's wrap the document.getElementById command in a function. JavaScript functions always start with the word function, followed by a space and the function name. We can name our function say hello and a pair of parentheses and the opening curly brace. And we can close it with a curly brace. Tap in the content of the function so that we know it's a part of the function too. Now save it and view it in your browser. As you can see, it says JS output here, and that is the content we have between the H2 tags. That means the JavaScript did not replace anything inside these tags. And that is because the function, any content inside the function, is inactive until we call it. Put a button tag underneath H2 and type the event onClick so that it calls the function when we click on the button. Close the button tag. Anything in between the button tags will appear on the button so that the user will know what to do. Now save this page and refresh your browser. Now when we click the button say hello, JavaScript will run. Now let's kick it up a notch. Instead of just having it say hello Janice Liu from JavaScript every time when we click the button, let's actually use a number variable and keep track of the total number of button clicks. So write variable clicks equals 0, semicolon. Notice that there's no quotes around the 0 because it's not a string, it's a number. To actually increase the number of clicks every time we run the function or press the button, we need a click incrementer. So we can go onto the top of the function and write clicks equals clicks plus 1, semicolon. And that just can be shortened with clicks plus plus. For the clicks to actually show on the web page, we need a pair of tags that can hold the text in. So go to the bottom of the button, tag, and put an H3 tag. In there, type total button clicks, colon, space, and let's assign the ID to tot clicks so that JavaScript can identify this ID and replace the text inside the tag. And we learned in the first lesson, for JavaScript to find the H3 and replace the tag, we need a document.getElementById command. So we can add that on the bottom. And this time the ID is tot clicks. .inner HTML equals the variable clicks. So we can save it and run and refresh the browser. So we see that the incrementer works, but the label total button clicks is replaced. And that is because the equal sign means that you replace whatever is inside the tags with the variable clicks. And to fix that, we can just refresh our concatenation knowledge from lesson 1 and add total button clicks, colon, space, and the quote, and don't forget the concatenation operator. So save and refresh your browser. And now we have the label total button clicks as well as the incrementer. Now before we end this lesson, I want to show you an important distinction between local variables and global variables. All these variables that we have on the top are global variables, and it means that they can only be initialized once. And they are available to all functions and not just the function say hello. But let's see what happens if we move this variable inside the function so that to make it a local variable. So copy it and paste it in the function and comment out the global variable. Save it and refresh your browser. And you can see that on the first click, the number did increase to 1. But as you keep clicking the button, the variable clicks did not increase. And that is because when local variables are declared inside the functions, they are initialized each time the function runs. So that is when you click the button every time. The variable clicks is reset to 0 every time the function runs. And the plus plus increment operator increases the variable by 1, so the clicks plus plus is equal to clicks plus 1, which is 0 plus 1, and that's every time we run the function. So that is the difference between global variables and local variables. Let's restore the global variable and comment out the local variable. Save and refresh your browser. And now it's working great again. To wrap up this lesson, We first learned how to create and call a function. And we did that by wrapping some code in a function so that the code wouldn't run automatically on page load. Then we added a button that the user clicks to call the function and run the code. The button function relationship is key to user interactivity on applications. Then we declared a number variable and used it inside the function to keep track of button clicks. We declared a variable outside the function so that it didn't get reset to 0 every time the function was called. And that is the difference between global and local variables. And so that is it for lesson 2. Again, I am Janice Liu, and I'll see you in lesson 3.